Hello, Dr. Brant Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do. When someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Hello, thank you for tuning in. When you're a patient here at my clinic in Rockford, Illinois, you come in, you fill out a history, we do a chiropractic exam on you, and then we do some chiropractic x-rays. Now there's normal spinal x-rays, except for we look at the left on the left and the right on the right, and we have certain views that we want to get, the same views your medical doctor takes, but we always make sure you're standing up in a weight-bearing position. That way we get our special views. And one of the first things I like to show people on their, what we call the lateral thoracic, which is where your ribs are, your thoracic's where your ribs are, and the lateral means a sideways view. I always ask them, are you ever worried about being that hunched over person that you see in church, that little old lady or the little old man? And I can tell you right now, by looking at this x-ray, I can tell you how you're doing in that progress. We use that x-ray along with the sideways view of your neck x-ray to give you that answer. You see, the human head weighs the same as a bowling ball. And you have a cervical curve in your neck. Your cervical bones are your neck bones. And it's round. And when it's nice and round, it distributes the weight of that bowling ball equally amongst all the vertebrae. But we ruin our curves in today's world a lot. You see, in my grandpa's day, he used to have a lot of lower back patients. All lower back. Man, these lower backs are bad. These people don't have any lower back posture. I'm not going to be honest with you. Most people today, I x-ray them, the lower back posture isn't so bad. They might have a little misalignment down there, like a hip flexor muscle that's too tight, causing a little twisting of the lower back. But compared to the stuff I see that my grandpa took care of, we don't see that like we used to. What happened was they made better chairs. Go into a desk chair from the 1950s or ride in a car from the 1950s. I'm a Jeep guy, so I get a 1950s Jeep, like an old CJ, like from the military, or a 1970s CJ compared to today's Wranglers. You got to be kidding me. These seats are incredible. They heat up, they warm, they cool, they do all kinds of things. I was even in an F-150 the other day, and the chair had a massager in it. You know what's happened? As our chairs have gotten so good, we don't have the same lower back issues we used to have, but now we can sit long enough to get bad necks. We call it tech neck, right? Everyone blames technology, but I'm going to tell you it's been around longer than technology's been around. Because you see what happens is the moment you sit, your head protrudes forward, it comes straight out. And your shoulders roll forward too. And so the moment I sit in it's really comfortable chair, I don't have to get up anymore because it doesn't hurt my lower back anymore. I sit in this comfortable chair. I got good lower back and lumbar support. Like everyone asks me, I got lumbar support in my car. Is that good? I'm like, it's good for your lower back. It's awful for your neck because now I'm rolling my shoulders forward and my head's coming out. And then what happens is I get up and that becomes my new posture. Shoulders together, head forward. I sit around watching people all the time now walking around doing things. I could just look at them. And the moment you see somebody when their head's protruding forward, watch them as they try to look left or right, because they'll do what I call the Frankenstein turn. Their whole body has to turn left or right. They have no more range of motion in their neck. The odds are if they're walking around with their head sticking out like that, the disc in the lower cervicals, the lower neck are probably massively degenerated. There's probably arthritic spurs growing, and they probably have a horrible pain sleeping, and they probably have hand numbness and tingling, and because if you watched last week's video about the subluxation, they probably have thyroid or other throat issues. Just willing to bet on that. Maybe even some respiratory problems. So that's what we see. They call it the technic epidemic right now because more and more people are looking at their phones than ever before. I know I just flew back and forth to Florida with the family and them for a convention, and you have to really watch people as they're walking because they'll walk right into you as they're looking down the whole time. At least put the phone down when you're walking for safety for all of us. But when we roll that all forward like that, it all stays like that. Like now I got to head forward, shoulders forward. And that kind of becomes my new posture. Everything rolled forward. Now, it doesn't hurt when I do that. I mean, I could walk around like that all day. It doesn't really bother me. But if I go to grab something heavy, if I turn my head real quick to see something, if I'm in a car accident or something like that, and I'm already in that position, man, I can really get injured. And that's what people tell me all the time. I wasn't doing nothing. I just turned my head a little bit and I had this quick pain. Well, the realization of it all is the fact that you sit too much, you created bad posture, bad habits, you got that position, you left yourself vulnerable, and now you did a little bit more than you can handle, and now you have pain. So what are we going to do about it? Well, yeah, you come in to see the chiropractor, we do our stuff on you, we find the spots, we adjust them, and then we ask you never sit down again, never use a computer again, and never read a book again, and you never have to worry about it again. That's not life, that's not reality. So we talk a lot about the fact that for every 20 minutes of sitting, you got to balance it out. You got to correct it. And your chiropractor will give you exercises and stretches to do based on yours. But I'm going to give you a really generic one. And if you're worried about doing this, check with your chiropractor first. Notice I didn't say your physical therapist or your medical doctor. I said check with your chiropractor first, because only a chiropractor is really trained to look at this stuff. My move is really easy. I just stand up, I bring my chin back. Now, I'm not looking down. I just simply make sure my ears are over my shoulders. So I go straight back with it. Sometimes you might get a couple extra chins when you do this. And then I try to touch my shoulder blades together. Now, while I do that, I look up to where the wall and the ceiling come together, and I track it back and forth 10 times. If you did that every half an hour sitting, you would negate a lot of the muscle memory that creates the bad posture that leaves you in the vulnerable position that creates the problems. It's not the cure, but it's the thing that you do to try to fight back. So we're a big fan of doing this because it helps the muscles go back where they're supposed to be. It helps the posture go back where it's supposed to be. It takes the stress off the base of your neck. It takes the stress off your nerves. It takes the stress off your blood supply going up and out of your head. You compromise that blood supply, you might end up with a headache. Maybe we'll talk about headaches sometime here soon. But it also causes the little misalignment in your neck to become big misalignment in your neck, and you have to go see the chiropractor more regularly. So taking that break's huge. I think we've all been on a long car ride before, and we get that nagging pain like coming from my neck into my shoulders. I always describe it like a knuckle trying to dig its way out. What's going on there is that muscle is so tight and inflamed. Then inflamed muscles get sticky. Sticky muscles make knots. Knots make adhesions. And you just keep rubbing that, keeps getting inflamed, and you keep it in a stressed spot because you got everything rolled forward in your head forward. You just keep pulling that muscle, irritating it more and more, creating more inflammation everywhere, which makes it harder and harder for you to correct your subluxations in your spine because you have this inflamed tissue. So by getting that adjusted and breaking that soft tissue and stop doing the bad thing, you're going to have better neck health down the road. So that's what we look at as chiropractors, and how to look at your neck pain and how to try to help you out. Now remember, the head weighs about 10 pounds. You get this straight head, forward head posture. You just weigh that down. You create all kinds of havoc. Like I said, here in Rockford, we'll teach you how to stand back and move your head back and forth, side to side, and work on getting it better. Technology is not going away. Even if it is, you still read a book, you still have the same problem. You drive a car, you have the same problem. You use a computer, you have the same problem. Sit down and have dinner, you have the same problem. It just keeps going and going and going. So by doing these simple little shoulders, blade back, chin in, and side to side look like this is a way to try to reverse the negative of sitting too long. Now, there's no healthy way to eat a candy bar. Candy bar is always going to be bad for you. But if you get in a treadmill, it'll be better. So this is kind of like eating a candy bar on the treadmill. It's not perfect for you, but it's going to be better than if you didn't. So I'm a big fan of standing up and doing these 10-second little stretches from every 20 minutes. Now, you got to set a timer on your phone because 20 minutes goes by like that when you're not paying attention. Matter of fact, if you've been listening to this podcast, by the time it's over, you're going to be halfway to your 20 minutes as it is. So do the best you can with that. On the car, obviously you can't stand up while you're driving, so try to do the best you can mimicking that, not letting go of the wheel, making sure you stay safe, but try to work on that stretch, try to take that pressure off your neck and shoulders. Again, you can do all the anti-inflammatories you want. You can do all the muscle relaxers you want. You can do all the steroid packs you want. As long as that posture is bad and that weight's crashing down, those vertebrae are going to wear out. Because remember, if the head's sticking out forward like that, those vertebrae are under so much stress, the body's going to lock those up and keep them from moving because it doesn't want you to create a major injury. And when they're locked up, they're not moving, we call that a subluxation. And the problem with that is when you move, you bend and twist, the muscles around there, they squeeze, they contract, they push nutrients into the disc space and pull the toxins out because the discs don't have a blood supply. You have to keep moving. So if you're locked up with bad posture, nose are under stress all the time, those discs are dehydrating. The fancy term for disc dehydration is degenerative disc disease. I like to say it like that because it's a lot scarier than it really is. But you got to keep those moving. The chiropractor can unlock those, and you can do your posture exercises and help get everything back where it's supposed to be. And only a chiropractor knows how to unlock those. Only a chiropractor does. I met a DO, ER doctor the other day at an ice hockey game. He told me he would never do cervical manipulations, and I had to agree with him. I don't think he should either. I think he should have to the chiropractors because we know more of what we're doing than he does. So I'm a big fan of having the chiropractor do the examination. So how do you know if this is you? Are your hands going numb? You having headaches? Can't sleep at night? You're uncomfortable? Having problems sleeping as a whole? Having headaches. I think the headache thing is something I'm going to have to dive more into. I think there's a lot more to talk about there with the headaches than this podcast allows. So hands going numb, headaches, neck pain, shoulder pain, probably have bad posture. And just ask yourself, can you walk up to a wall, put your heels, hips, shoulder blades, elbows, hands, and the back of your head up against the wall like this without discomfort? If it's a struggle to get in that position, we're thinking forward head posture. You might want to go get checked by a chiropractor. Only chiropractors are trained to look at this in this sense. Only chiropractors understand this is not from a lack of physical therapy, meaning physical therapy is great if you got these muscles in there that need to be redone, but first you're going to get the alignment back. And only chiropractors are trained to look at your alignment. There's no medication that's going to fix this. I see these people who want to put on these like slings that hold their shoulders back and stuff like that. You're not going to get stronger by wearing that. You're only going to get weaker by wearing that. When you break your leg, you put in a cast, hit the cast off. Your leg's not stronger. It's weaker. So only a chiropractor can help train you with this. So if you got a question about that, go ask a chiropractor. If you have a question you'd like me to answer as a chiropractor, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're in Rockford, Illinois, just stop on in. We'll be happy to have a chat with you. You know what? Let's come back next time and talk a little bit more about headaches. I think we need to talk about headaches. Thank you.